Hi, ladies and dudes. This is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka Boobop187. This is my review for today. And today's review, ladies and dudes, well, my friends, it's that time again for another top 10 list that nobody has never done before. And this top 10 list it's another top 10 movie list. And this is a good list that nobody has never done before. And it's all about some very good memorable scenes for a movie. Yes, my friends, today's top 10 list I want to do is the top 10 best memorable scenes in a movie. And to tell you the truth, this, ladies and dudes, you know how to make this list work. It's all about you gotta pick a really good scene that is kind of memorable to you. I don't care if it's a heartwarming moment or a very emotional moment or a funny moment, something that's really sad, or maybe it's, well, something that's good and something that's okay or decent or funny and maybe spectacular or something exciting or something that'll bring you to a tear to your eye. Hard to say. Or something that's really, really epic. Well, whatever it is, this is your own opinion, not mine, but first things first, I'll tell you about my own opinions or what is my most favorite scenes that I enjoyed in a movie that's kind of memorable to me. So, anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my top 10 best memorable scenes in a movie. And sadly, I only got one honorable mention. And my honorable mention belongs to the Phantom of the Opera, the 2004 version. One of the best memorable scenes I love about this movie is definitely the masquerade dance scene. It was so darn well done. It was pretty well fast paced. And I will say this movie version of the masquerade dance scene is 10 times better than the Broadway version of the Phantom of the Opera. I will say the Broadway version is not really good, but the movie version is 10 times better. And I'm so darn honored to love this movie. For real, if you know what I mean. So let's get on with the list. Coming at number 10 is definitely the love scene from The House of Flying Daggers. It's the scene about where May needs to do her job of killing Jean, around far, far away, so the House of Flying Daggers will never see the execution and all that stuff. But the reason why May has to rescue Jean's life is she doesn't want Jean to follow him and following the scheme and all that stuff. So anyway, May had no choice but to let Jean go and try to set him free. But before they go to their separate ways, I will never forget one of the best memorable moments I love about this movie is truly the sex scene. This is the very first and only memorable scene I will add on this list that involves a sex scene. I freaking love that sex scene. It was so darn memorable to me. I mean, this is the most appropriate sex scene I have ever seen in this movie. I was so darn blown away. The reason why it's so appropriate is they just made love in the grass and they only took off their tops. And I know they did not took off the rest of their clothes because they gotta leave it as a PG-13 rating. But yes, I fell in love with that sex scene. And also, I also fell in love with the dialogue as well. One of the best moments I do love about this movie, after Jean and May finally finished up their sex scene, I will never forget where Jean was being so honest to May because he finally began to understand her a little bit better, and he already knows that May is falling in love with someone else, someone who's very very special to her and all this stuff. Not until later on that lover of hers will betray her, if you know what I mean. So I don't have anything else to say. The love scene between Gina and May deserves to be at number 10. Coming at number 9 goes to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And yes, ladies and dudes, to tell you the truth is, this is one of my most favorite memorable movies of all time. And my major problem I had with this movie is there's too many good memorable scenes I do love about this movie. But I'm gonna only pick one good memorable scene I do love for this movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that is somewhere that took place close to the end of the movie is when Eddie Valiant made up his own version of the merry-go-round broke down. I love that scene to death. It was pretty well fast-paced. I love all the craziness and the highlight moments that Eddie Valiant did for the Weasels. He's doing the best he can to make them laugh while he's entertaining all of them. And I guess Jessica was saying he's just losing his mind, but Roger doesn't think so. Let's just say Eddie Valiant is trying to make up a plan to find a way to rescue Roger and Jessica's, fate and problem and try to save Toontown in time. But, oh yeah, one of the things I'll never forget about that scene of the merry-go-round broke down is I threw a tank and falls and bounced it off the wall without that guy as a ball kicking it. Oh! No, but this does. Boom! Now, who doesn't love that dialogue and that pretty awesome scene that Eddie Valiant did? So the merry-go-round broke down deserves to be at number 9. Coming at number 8 goes to the near ending from Spirited Away. And yes, Spirited Away was also one of my favorite memorable movies of all time that was created by the legendary Hayao Miyazaki. And yes, the near ending is definitely the most magical part I love about this movie. It's a tear-jerking moment where Chihiro and Haku had finally opened up their feelings, and it looks like it's young kids in love. I mean, it's so darn sweet, so darn memorable, and it'll bring you to a tear to your eye. But the memorable scene I was talking about is when Chihiro was trying to tell Haku something about what happened to them in their past when they finally first met. Chihiro lost her pink shoe. She was trying to get it, but she was about to drown, but Haku was there to rescue her, and Chihiro was trying to remember Haku's real name is the Kahaku River, if I remember right. Yeah. And when Chihiro said that, Haku had turned back into his old self, and they had that very beautiful tear-jerking moment. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go and watch this movie. This will truly blow you away. And I love that near ending so much. It deserves to be at number 8. Coming at number 7 goes to Larry Daly's speech from the First Night Museum movie. Who doesn't love this memorable scene at the near end? After all, the near end was definitely the strongest point for this movie. And this speech that Larry Daly did had truly blew me away. He's gonna finally open up his heart and open up his feelings to all the exhibits who are living in the Natural World History Museum. He made a very epic speech, and he started to care for every single one of them. While there was a big emergency on the loose, with those old night guards had stolen the magic tablet and they need to get it back before morning. And it was just heartwarming. It was so darn speechless. And this is where Larry Daly started to become the main protagonist for the Night Museum story. eh, it's really hard for me to say. So Larry Daly's speech deserves to be at number 7. Coming at number 6 goes to, one of my favorite Liam Neeson films of all time, Nonstop. And I'm gonna choose one of my favorite memorable scenes in the movie, only 3 of them, where Bill Marks only cared about one person at the airplane and one person only. No, it's not Julianne Moore's character. It's not that one of the airplane lady person. I forgot what she, some hostess for the airport. It's that little girl, that cute, sweet little girl. That's the only person that Bill Marks had trusted the most. I mean, there were 3 great, memorable scenes I will never forget when Bill Marks had a little bit of softness and a little bit of caring for this one special, sweet little girl. And it really did touch my heart to see Bill Marks to not just be the only bad A-word dude in the airplane, but he has a little soft and sweeter side of him for caring about just one person. And the reason why that Bill Marks really cared about that little girl so much, because that little girl had reminded him of his little girl that he lost from many years ago. And the 3 heartwarming moments I will never forget in that movie is when Bill Marks was so sweet enough to give the little girl her teddy bear back, and he gave it to her in a very nice, positive way. The second one is when Bill Marks was trying to comfort her and shelter her when there was a big giant emergency on the loose in the airplane, that there's a bomb on the loose, and also at the end of the movie where that little girl gave Bill Marks a nice sweet hug and she gave Bill Marks that ribbon back and put it on his hand. It was very touching, very heartwarming. It will always have a special place in my heart. So Bill Marks having a good, strong connection to that little girl deserves to be at number 6. And I'll be back for a couple of minutes as I tell you about my top 5 most favorite memorable scenes I enjoyed the best from all the movies that I really loved the most from my childhood to adulthood. So don't go away for part 2.